Greetings. We will now examine how we can insert images in Blackboard. There are two ways of inserting images. If we want to display the image alongside text and video, we would insert it using the editing options that we see here. Specifically, this option is what allows us to embed an image. On the other hand, if we do not want the image to be displayed with text and video and other content, we can insert it using Build Content and then select Image option. So when we insert an image, there are certain options that we can set. The description and the title are perhaps the most critical because these will allow someone who is using a screen reader to understand the contents of the image. We can also set the width and the height of the image, and then we can set the alignment, whether it shows up on the left or right, the amount of space around it, and also whether it has a border. So here we are. I'm referring to the design document, and I noticed that there were 3 images that needed to be displayed. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that the images are downloaded and available on my computer. So here are 3 images which have been stored in a folder named Images. The next thing I'm going to do is click on Content Collection. So when you click on it, it will open up. And then select the first option, which is usually the ID of the course. And when I do that, I'm going to see the files that have already been uploaded. So all I need to do now is to go to Upload, Upload Files, browse my computer, find the 3 images, open, and then click Submit. Now these images have been uploaded to the course. Let's go ahead and get started with the Start Here content area, because that's where the first image needs to be embedded. So I click on Start Here. There's the placeholder for the image. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the placeholder text and position the cursor where I want the image to be displayed. And then I click on the third icon from the left in the third row, and this dialog box pops up. At this point, since the images have already been uploaded to my course, I can click on Browse Course, find the image, click on the radio button, click on Submit. As I do that, the image will show up in this area. Now, before we click Insert, we need to fix a few things. The first one is the image description and title. So I'm going to type in a title which briefly describes the image. The description can be a bit more detailed, and once the description has been entered, we can click Insert to put the image into the content area. But before I do that, I want to show you a few other options that you can set. So when I click on Appearance, this is where I can change the dimensions of the image. Now this particular image is supposed to be 300 pixels, so we are all set. The vertical and horizontal space will allow us to specify how much space should be displayed around the image. And so sometimes it's important to keep a little bit of space so that the image is separated from the content around it. We can also set the border, and the higher the number, the thicker the border is going to be. As you can see, if I were to change it to 1, it's a thinner border. Finally, the alignment. So if I choose different settings, I can identify where the image is going to be displayed within that window. So for example, if I choose left, the image will be on the left, the text will flow to the right of it. If I choose right, the image will be displayed to the right of the window, and the text will flow to the left of it. Similarly, we can choose the other options. Feel free to try them out and experiment with them. For right now, I'm going to choose baseline, which is going to keep the image separate from the content around it. So let's go ahead and click insert, and there is my image. Once I'm comfortable with the way the image is showing up, I can click submit, and I have now set up this item to display the image. Now you might notice that there's a blue band below the image. So what I'm going to do now is select the image, and just as we have done this before with text that we brought in from Microsoft Word, I can remove the formatting. Unfortunately, when I do that, the space that I had set around it is also going to get removed. So again, I can select the image, go back to this icon, go back to the appearance, and then put the vertical and horizontal space back in here. 2, 2, and 1 for the border. And update it, and then click submit. So let's go ahead and set up the image for the next item, which is overview in weekly content area and week 1 introduction to sea turtles learning module. So weekly content, and then week 1, and then overview. So here is the placeholder for the image. So let's go ahead and edit. And here the instructions say that we need to link the image. So I'm going to leave that part of the instructions in here so that we can return and link that image, and remove the instructions for embedding the image. Notice here again that the width of the image is supposed to be 300 pixels. So I remove that placeholder text, and again go back, click on browse, find the species image, click submit. Need to put in a description and the title. Since there are 7 species of sea turtles, I'm going to go ahead and put in a much detailed description here. So it's the sea turtles. And for the title, I'm going to put in a brief description, which is the species by Joe Michichi. Now when I go to appearance, I notice that the dimensions are showing 844 by 768 pixels. Since the width needs to be 300 pixels, I'm going to go here and change that to 300. And notice what happens when I click outside the box. The height will automatically adjust because the constraint proportions has been checked. Click on insert, and now click on submit. I'm going to use the same process to set up the third image within the course, which is within the Introduction to Sea Turtles item. I have now completed the setup of the course with the 3 images.